Hello, leaders of the world. Welcome to Spread Love in Organizations, a podcast for purpose-driven healthcare leaders striving to make life better by leading their teams with genuine care, servant leadership, and love. I'm Naji, your host, joined today by Fabrice Barlesi, CEO of Gustave Roussy, a leading cancer center in Europe, ranked third the world's best oncology hospital and first outside the United States. Fabrice is a lung cancer specialist and a major contributor to research in the field of novel oncological therapies. He was appointed CMO, then CEO of Gustave Roussy since 2020. He is professor of medicine at the University of Aix-Marseille and joined Paris-Saclay University in 2022. He has been head of the multidisciplinary oncology and innovative therapies department of the Nord Hospital in Marseille and the Marseille Center for Early Trials in Oncology, CLIP2, which were established by him. Fabrice is also co-founder of the Marseille Immunopole French Immunology Network. He is the author and co-author of some 400 articles in international journals and specialist publications. In 2018, the European Society of Medical Oncology, ESMO, and the International Association for the Study of Lung Cancer awarded him this prestigious Hein-Heinsen Prize. He appeared in 2019 World List of Most Influential Researchers. Fabrice, it is such a pleasure to see you again and have you with me today.
Thank you, Naji. It's a great pleasure to be with you and to make this podcast with you.
I would love first to learn more about your personal story. Why did you choose medicine, oncology, and now leading one of the most renowned cancer institutions in the world? What's the story behind this incredible journey?
I think it's quite a simple story. In fact, I have been interested to medicine by a neighbor of my parents who was a GP. And in fact, when I grew up, I was discussing with him. He was showing me or explaining me what he was doing, the patients he was seeing, what he was doing with the patients. And then I became passionate by medicine and by doing things for others, I would say. Then I started the School of Medicine, and I have to confess that during my training, at least I would say during the theoretical training, because in France we have 6 years of theoretical training, and we are students at the hospital, but we are not in responsibility of patients during that time. And I was really not, and even it's the contrary, I was quite sure that I was not made for oncology. And in fact, why? Because I believe that when you look at oncology on the theoretical point of view, you are learning a lot of classification, a lot of different treatment, but you are not seeing the other face of oncology beyond medicine and beyond science. That is the patient, that is the humanity of the patient, that is saving life. And it was during my first resident stay. I would say it was in a small hospital in the suburb of Marseille, and I will always remember. It was an old patient. She was diagnosed with an ovarian cancer, and she was here at the beginning of this training, and I was discussing with these patients while I was seeing also a lot of lung cancer patients. But I remember this patient because she was so courageous regarding her disease, etc. And in fact, she was waiting for her grandchildren, and she was waiting for the visit of her grandchildren that came for Christmas. And I saw her for the last time on the 24th of December. The grandchildren came on the 24th in the evening, and on the 25th she was died. And it's for me the example of what we should do for those patients. We should try to make them having the life they want to have, to support them during disease, and I would say now find new treatment in order to cure those patients. But I always remember, because this example is showing what is oncology for me. Oncology for me, it's the perfect mix between science and human.
Wow, thank you so much, Fabrice, for sharing this. I think all of us who've done rotations or went to oncology, this human side that you described is so powerful, and we really see how courageous, as you said, those patients are, and what it means actually to add even a day, when a day means so much emotionally for patients. You moved from being a clinician, and I feel your passion as a clinician and researcher, to leading now an institute as the chief executive officer. Can you share with us your learning and challenges probably through this transition and how you go with it?
In fact, when I was based in Marseille, I had the chance to lead, I would say, a large department of, I would say, general oncology, but also the early phase drug development center. And it was really exciting. But I would say Gustave Roussy was always for me like a model, And when I was in Marseille, I was saying I want to make the Gustave Roussy of Marseille. At Gustave Roussy, I had a lot of friends with Jean-Charles Soria, with Benjamin Bess, and then we had a lot of exchanges. And with Jean-Charles, we were resident at the same time. And I would say we always had collaborations through large clinical trials like the Saphir trial, but also some of the projects like the Biomarker France project that we ran together. And in fact, I came in Gustave Roussy, beside the admiration I had for this institution, to join Jean-Charles. And Jean-Charles asked me to come early in 2020 when he came back from the US to take the head of Gustave Roussy. And at that time, I came as a CEO and also leading the clinical research organization. And I would say for me, what I discovered in Gustave Roussy is something that was even more amazing and fascinating than expected, because of not of the size of the institution that you made realize from outside, but because of, I would say, the extreme dedication of all the people here. Both the nurses, the researchers, the MDs, everybody is doing things with a lot of passion. They want really, and really the mindset here is to say everything we are making is to cure more patients today and to cure more patients tomorrow through the research we are carrying out. And clearly, it's something that you may see every day and every day of the year. And it's what I see here. It's also a place that was a leader for many innovations in oncology, but a place also where we can still try to improve our activities, our organizations, because we know that this organization and the needs of the patients and the expectation of the society are still moving forward, and we need to adapt ourselves to this new world, both regarding the expectation of the patients, but also the expectations of our professionals. And we know how much it changed after the COVID crisis. And I really believe that here in Gustave Roussy, giving our hospital, giving the research centers, giving also the other pillars that make Gustave Roussy unique, our education, we have a large part of education, more than 300 programs that are dedicated to all the professionals, but also our international activities. And we are taking care of more than 1,500 patients, international patients every year. And we are going to open some facilities outside France, but also our spin-off, Gustave Roussy Transfer, that is clearly trying to make what has been made very nicely in the US and especially in Boston, that is transforming the product of our research into new drug, new devices, or new pathways. And the idea is that it's how we really want to have a societal impact with our research and change the life and the future of the patients.
That is awesome. And really, you're taking what's been there and you're expanding this and exploring even beyond. I love this idea about also drug development, as you said, and how you can expand those globally. Um, I want to go back to this moment where you came to Gustave Roussy, as you shared in the early 2020. And obviously, you came and COVID crisis hit. You shared the dedication and the devotion of your people. So I'm interested to learn what was your biggest leadership learning during those times of tough moments for your patients and also healthcare providers going through this crisis?
The big lessons I would say is probably the adaptability of the people when they are facing a huge crisis. I would say that we are lucky that no one of us in our generation had to face a war. At least I would say in Europe. And but I would say the COVID crisis was like a small and of course smart war against the virus, but it was really the adaptability, the capacity of the people to work 24 hours in order to take care of patients, finding new solutions. And the leadership during this crisis, I would say, was quite, I would say, easy, I would say, because all the peoples were dedicated to one goal. We want to take care of those patients, whatever they are coming from. And even what is really special in Gustave Roussy, for the first time, we had in our intensive care unit patients without any cancer. It was the first time in the story of Gustave Roussy in more than 100 years. And it was really a special moment, but it was quite easy. And what was really important at that time, it's important every time, but at that time was really to capture the information that were coming from all around the world regarding the epidemiology, the knowledge about the virus, the knowledge about the treatment, the knowledge about how we can protect ourselves and protect our people, but also the patients, how we can continue to treat our cancer patients even in this special situation. Then we adapted the institution, and finally the importance of the vaccinations and how we can go back to normal life. I would say not very rapidly, but we wanted to be able to provide our patients and our employees with quite a normal life, even if the COVID was still there and through the different waves of the COVID.
Thinking now forward, we're at another we're at another incredible moment in time, right? In oncology, I'm sure you would agree, where innovation will be at this tipping point to cure even more patients. With some cancers we thought we would never be able to tackle or to treat. Thinking about gene therapy, AI, immuno-oncology, a lot of those that are ongoing that will help us really cure patients. So I'm intrigued, how do you think about the future of oncology for the patients you serve and also for your care teams who is treating them daily?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I cannot imagine another work that is more passionate than oncology as of today. It's really amazing how we changed in the last 20 years, I would say, and even more rapidly in the past decade. How we foresee the future of oncology is first, I would say oncology will not only be dedicated to cancer patients, but also to subject at high risk of cancer. Then we should also try to prevent the occurrence of cancer by a more dedicated, more precise prevention, but also we should progress to have more compliance with screening, then diagnose patients very early, and because it's one of the way to cure more cancer patients. The second is to be more precise also in the early stages of the disease. I would say in the past, we were sometimes simply saying, okay, the patient has been operated on, then is or she is cured, and then it's done. We know that now we have some aggressive disease, even in the early stage, then we should use what we learned in the precision medicine field and to apply it for early stages, and it's what we do for our patients. Regarding the advanced stage, it's also, I believe that, and we believe in Gustave Roussy, that probably we should be more smart in using local treatment, surgery, radiotherapy, international radiology, even in the advanced stage, or I would say oligometastatic disease, to use a word that is easily understandable. And we believe that we may be able to cure more patients with the use of this in using this type of technology, even in metastatic stages. Beside that, regarding medical strategies, we believe that there are two different big ways. The first one is to better understand all the molecular profile of the tumors, finding oncology addictions, but also how co-molecular alteration are jeopardizing the activity of targeted drugs, how we can try to combine it in order to overcome the potential resistances driven by these co-molecular alterations. Then it's all the work that we should do in this field of precision medicine. The second one is, of course, immunotherapy at a large sense, then saying that the use of checkpoint inhibitors, the one that we have in our hand, but also to develop new drugs, how we should combine it with the new, I would say, strategies that are coming. And we are developing in Gustave Roussy a department that is called the immune cell enhancer. Then we don't want to discuss about just targeted cell therapy, I would say, but saying that we could manipulate the immune system and the immune environment with the many type of drugs that are in development, or for some of them already available. And we believe that it will generate the new strategy for the patients. And finally, regarding this medical oncological treatment, we believe that we cannot anymore build our strategy on empirical decision. We believe that patients are waiting for more objective decision. It's why we are developing both biological and digital avatars for our patients in order to be able at the lab to test different therapeutic strategies, being more and more precise over the time with this kind of strategies, just in order at the end to be able, in a time frame that will be in a turnaround time that will be compatible with the cure of patients, being able to clearly define what will be the strategy with the highest probability of activity in a given patient at a given stage of the disease. And we will believe that this ultra precision of the treatment is a part of our future. And finally, at the final part of our development and what we foresee is the fact that we will cure more patients. And when we see the data that we have for the moment, we know that we are curing more and more patients, I would say, over the time. But we want to give these patients back to a normal life. And we have to understand what are the patients with long-lasting adverse events, with sequelae from the treatment. And probably in some of them, we can go to de-escalation of the therapeutic strategy. Then we are, I would say, enlarging the activities and the research in order to fulfill of this I would say field of research in order to be more precise for our patients, more potent, and cure more patients.
Thank you, Fabrice, for this great overview, and certainly gives hope for many of us as caregivers or potential patients. I want now to move to a section where I will give you a word, and I would love your reaction to it. So the first word is leadership.
It's take the blame and give the credit.
Oh, I love that. Can you share a little bit more? Because I remember also a discussion where you shared your thought about what's your job as a leader and CEO of an organization, and you talked about people and talent. So I'd love to dig a little bit more here.
I believe that for me the one of the most important things regarding the leader in an organization like Gustave Roussy is to be able to attract talents. And attracting talents means that you have the good facilities, you have the good project, you have, in fact, it's just the final demonstration of the rightness of the decision that you took before, in fact. And I believe that you may be able to attract talent only if you have all the other things. Then for me, it's really important to discuss with young people, to know what are their expectations regarding the research, what are their ideas, but also how they want to live, what are their expectations regarding both their professional life but also the personal life, and try to make the good mix in order to have the best institution, and not I would say just trying to set up an highly efficient organization like that, things that were done in the past regarding the efficiency of the companies or things like that.
The second word is precision medicine.
Precision medicine is first the DNA of Gustave Roussy, with and I say the validation of an idea that came more than 20 years ago, that was the idea to use the techniques that were used for research in the labs and transfer this technique to patients and demonstrate the value of the use of these new techniques in clinical trials, and then I would say everywhere. And it's what we did when what the leaders of Gustave Roussy did at that time, supported by Professor Turtz, who was the CEO of Gustave Roussy at that time. It was clearly to transfer the genotyping of the tumors that was done only at the lab for patients in a turnaround time that was that may be used for the management of patients. Then we set up a new generation of clinical trials, the Sapphire trial for breast, for lung cancer, etc., demonstrating the efficiency of this strategy, and then participating to the development in France of the network of genotyping platforms in order to provide all of the patients with this kind of strategy. Then it's the DNA of precision medicine is clearly the DNA of Gustave Roussy, and we are trying both to improve what we did in the past, but also to find what are the new technology coming from the research that we should transfer to the patient. And it's what we are trying to do with single cell and spatiomics in order to build these biological but also digital avatars of our patients.
And this work for our listeners has really transformed care for patients. So thanks for all the work that you guys have done.
Yeah, clearly, when we look, I remember as a lung cancer specialist, when I started, in fact, it was, in the middle of the 90s. In fact, I would say the life expectation for stage 4 lung cancer was like 6 months. Now I have patients that I'm following for more than 12 years. Then clearly it changed a lot. And even we have patients that were treated just at the beginning of the era of immunotherapy through clinical trials that are still alive after 10 years with a stage 4 disease. Then clearly it changed a lot. We still have a lot of things to understand, both regarding the biology of the tumors and the how we may modulate the immune system, but clearly it changed the life of the patients clearly.
Yeah, and as we said, we still have a lot to do, but it's great to see the road that's been on, and hopefully we will. This is why we wake up every morning to make sure that we can cure more patients and help them out. The third word is health equity.
Yeah, it's a huge issue, because when you are leading the big centers like Gustave Roussy, but I would say it's also true probably when you are leading a research group or even a small hospital, you are always trying to improve what is happening in your immediate environment. But if you are trying to look a little bit in the future, you realize that it's absolutely impossible to imagine that the progresses you are making are just dedicated to the small number of patients that will come to your institution. Then it's really important, and it's really something we are discussing every day in Gustave Roussy. It's how the progresses we are making will be disseminated across the country, but also internationally. And the first step for that is education. It's why we set up Gustave Roussy Education with both national and international programs, because without the knowledge about the innovations, you may not disseminate innovation. The second is the clinical research, and we set up some very simple, pragmatic trials that may be run everywhere in the world, but that are set up in order to answer a very simple question, like the Lungard trial that we did in the past. Should we do radiotherapy in stage N2 lung cancer or not? Something very simple, but we have a lot of examples like that. And also, a part of this trial will be dedicated to de-escalation. Can we de-escalate, I would say, the dosage of immunotherapy or the length of immunotherapy as an example, something that is simple and maybe done everywhere. And also, it's also the reason why we set up our alumni. The alumni are not only, I would say, like a club where people are happy to meet one time a year during the ESMO meeting, but it's also a way to run clinical research everywhere in a large number of countries, and making the possibility for some patients everywhere to accede to molecular genotyping, some strategies regarding research. And the last, I would say, pillar for health equity is also when you are developing therapeutic strategy or diagnosis strategy, it's also to say, okay, I want something that is quite simple and that may be done everywhere at a price that would be affordable for all the patients. And it's what we try to do, even when we are developing very sophisticated tools. After that, we move to say, okay, how can we simplify and being sure that we may reach the same results? Because there is no future for techniques that will be dedicated only to highly privileged peoples or some specific centers in some specific countries. We should make progresses available for everyone in the world.
I can't agree more. The last one is spread love in organizations.
It's what is important for me is to build organization that are always dedicated to the largest, I would say, institutional interest. I would say. Then what is important is that everybody should be aligned with an organization that is serving patients and the patients' research, education, and the strategy of the institutions. And no one, even the CEO, is more important than the institution. And it's what we try to do. We try to educate our fellows like that. We have huge leaders, I would say, in Gustave Roussy, as you know, And you cannot find people that are more interested with the institution than people that are working here. And I can cite, I would say, not all of them, but Caroline Robert, Karim Fizazi, Benjamin Bess, Fabrice André. It's big stars in the field of oncology. And I'm citing only people working in the field of clinical research because they are very well known everywhere. But we have also basic researchers like Florent Ginaud, Olivier Bernard, etc. And all of them are really every day thinking to the institution, what we can do for the institution, how can we attract talent, what are the projects we can fight for, etc., etc. Then clearly for me, the organization is serving the strategy of the institution and should be both flexible regarding the expectation and the need of the researcher. We should be, you should give researchers some freedom in order to think and to develop the hypothesis they have, but also with always the alignment with the strategy. And our strategy regarding especially research is to say we want to have a societal impact. And we want to conduct a research with a societal impact. We want to change the outcome of the patients in a close future.
Any final word of wisdom, Fabrice, for healthcare leaders around the world?
The first one is, I would say, we know that we are in a big competition. And clearly, all the countries, the institutions are trying to do their best in order to find a new generation of treatment and to develop a new generation of drugs or pathway or devices. But at the end, and it's the strength of all of these academic centers, I would say, we know that we are clearly strong together by also sharing our knowledge through, I would say, the international societies, the different meetings that we have, and clearly aligning both this competition and this collaboration. They are not the opposite, they are just the two faces of the same coin.
Well, thank you so much, Fabrice. It's an incredible chat. Thank you also what you do as a CEO and for all Gustave Roussy team. The social impact is more than clear and obvious through all the years, and hopefully even more exciting innovations for the years to come coming from you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Najee. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you all for listening to Spread Love in Organizations podcast. Subscribe and connect with us on SpreadLoveIO.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. Most importantly, spread love in your organizations and spread the word around you to inspire others and amplify this movement our world so desperately needs.